welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. My name is Romney and I make fashion and aesthetic videos. Today I'm very excited because we're going to be talking all about thrifting, all of my tips and tricks and all of that. I asked you guys on Instagram like any topics or questions you had, so I'll be doing like a Q&A section as well. And then at the very end of the video I'm going to show you some outfits, just a few of my favorite vintage thrifted outfits to hopefully inspire you in your thrifting endeavors. Before we get started with today's video, I wanted to let you know today's video is sponsored by Ana Luisa. Ana Luisa is a sustainable jewelry brand. They source from recycled materials and are super transparent about all of their business practices, which is perfect for today's video since we're kind of already on the topic of sustainability with thrifting and all of that. So over the past few months, I've kind of been on more of like a sustainability journey, and I'm still on that journey. I'm not like all the way there yet, but I think it's really important to promote brands like this that source recyclable materials, really transparent and all that. I love like knowing where my products are coming from, especially when it's something like jewelry that like, especially a lot of their pieces are just like timeless pieces that you can literally wear every single day. That'll go with a million different outfits. I'm wearing them. I will show you the pieces that I got in a minute, but especially with something like that where like you are literally wearing that piece every single day, so you want to know that it's something sustainable and that it's good quality at the same time. So the first one I have on is the Temple Black necklace set, and it is $115. It's super good quality. So what I like is that it is two separate necklaces. So a lot of like layered necklaces like this will come like connected together, but this actually gives you the option, like if you just wanted to wear this one or if you just wanted to wear the chain, you can still do that rather than it being connected and getting it like tangled and probably messed up that way. The other ones I'm wearing are these little pin earrings, which I love. So this one was $75, and again, like this is something that you could literally wear every single day. Okay, and then the last one I got, this one is called the Ava set. It's $125. I love it so much, and again, like the other one, they're all three separate necklaces. So while the $125 seems like a lot, like you technically do get like three completely different necklaces that you could totally just wear on your own. So definitely check them out, and I do have a discount code. It is RomneyEllen10 for 10% off, so that'll be linked in the description box below. Okay, so let's get back to thrifting. I kind of wrote like a little essay on my laptop of just topics and things I wanted to cover. But a little bit of background about me, I actually used to work in a resale thrift store. Now this was actually my first job back in 2017. So when I was a senior in high school, and then I worked there for like 2 years after that, or no, like a year and a half. But anyways, so I was kind of like into it back then. After that job, I was a little bit, I guess maybe triggered from my minimum wage retail job, so I wasn't really thrifting for a while there. Kind of got more back into it probably this past year or so, especially with the rise of online thrifting, which has been super helpful in my journey in finding cute vintage finds. So yeah, I'm gonna first talk about the stores I like to thrift in. So nowadays I pretty much go to the nearest Goodwill to me, and I find a lot of stuff there. Now if you've ever been to a Goodwill, you know that it is like a huge store. At least the one that's close to me is a huge store, so like you can literally find anything in there. I kind of have like my specific sections I go to, which I'll talk about that in a minute. The other stores I go to are like vintage stores in downtown Houston. Now especially this past year, I haven't really been to those a lot. I think I went once at the beginning of last year and then at the end of last year, and I would really like to go again very soon, hopefully, if it is like safe to do so and all of that. But yeah, I'll go downtown, which I tend to find more like vintage shops, so those are more like curated thrift shops rather than just a bunch of random stuff, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like already hand-picked out, like the cute, like trendy vintage kind of clothing, if that makes sense. So I do tend to find good stuff there, and it doesn't take as long to really sift through racks because there's so many cute curated things in there already. And then the other place I shop a lot is on ThredUp. Now Poshmark too, I haven't actually bought anything there yet, but I have been looking up on the website, and I do plan on making a purchase there in the near future. But mostly ThredUp is what I've been using. So yeah, my three main ones are ThredUp, Goodwill, and once in a while vintage stores that are downtown. So tip number 1 is to kind of know your way around your personal thrift store, whether it's a Goodwill or whatever it is. A lot of these places are like huge. Some of them are even like as big as like a Target or something like that, like, right? It's just like a huge open space. So to know your way around those stores and what sections work for you is a really helpful thing to have in your brain before you go in. So for me, these sections include tops, outerwear, skirts, dresses, and the pajama section, which is actually the very first place I go to when I walk into these big thrift shops, is because you can find the cutest like silky material items, which I love. So that's like little slip dresses, which I like to wear as like normal dresses sometimes depending on the length, or like I just found like this really cute like silky kind of like button up that I can actually wear as like a normal top. So you can find like, you know, like Victoria's Secret nightgowns that would typically be like, I don't even know how much those are, like $40–60 maybe, I don't know, I haven't shopped there in so long. But yeah, so you can like find stuff like that for literally like $2, $4, $6, which is amazing. So when shopping on places like ThredUp or Poshmark, I've actually made a curated list of things I like to search up just to save time. I'll go through the list, just search each one, see what comes up, go through like pages and pages and pages of clothing. And you know, sometimes like this will happen to me where like I search up and it might not even be on the first page, and you might have to go like 7 pages deep into that topic, but you'll find like a little gem in there. Now I will say, while it's nice to not have to drive down to thrift stores and just like stay at home and do it, it can be time consuming sometimes. Like I spent 3 hours finding 2 vintage jackets, but in the end of it, it was totally worth it. So I feel like a lot of times if it's like your first time logging onto one of these websites, it kind of feels like, oh, like there's not that much cute stuff here. But it's like the same if you walk into like a Goodwill, like it's not gonna look cute at first, but you really do have to kind of like go digging to find those items. So tip number 2 is to have a set sort of color palette before you go in. So I have this just in general with all of my shopping. I tend to stick to the same color palette within my wardrobe. That way everything you own just kind of goes together, and then it's easier to style outfits because you're staying in those same tones rather than just having like a bunch of different random colors that are hard to pair together. Personally, I usually stick to these colors, which are black, white, beige, brown, gray, blush pink, green, and blue, which sounds like a lot of colors, but it's basically all of the neutrals, like green, dark green, sage green, like lighter magenta-y pinks, and light blue. Sometimes navy blue, because that's kind of like a neutral, give or take. But yeah, having this set color palette is nice because most thrift stores are organized by color, so you can literally just like, if you're looking for a top, like a nice white blouse, you can go just to the white top section and look there, and you don't have to sift through every single top. Tip 3 kind of goes along with colors, is to also have set fabrics and patterns that you look for if you do like patterns. But for me, those would include plaid, of course, I think we all know that I love plaid, floral, maybe polka dots, but only in like a cute vintagey kind of way, and anything with a ruching detail, a puff sleeve, a fur collar, or details of sort. Obviously this one is from ThredUp, by the way. So yeah, puff sleeves and pleated skirts, long or short. And then for fabrics, I like to look for things like cotton, wool, silk is a good one, any kind of like lace detail, anything that just feels vintage and nice, cashmere, all of like the fancy clothing material words. So tip number 4, I think, hopefully, is create a list before you go in. Now I'm not gonna lie, I don't always do this, even though I should, but it's good just to have that like mental list in your mind so that you don't end up spending too much money or just like buying things you don't need just because it's like kind of cute and like, oh, it's thrifted, it's kind of cute, I'll get it, but then you kind of just like never wear it because it wasn't really something you needed. I'm telling this to myself so I can stop doing that. But so like, yeah, like last time I went thrifting, I had like a list in my mind where I was like, okay, I want one jacket and I want a long skirt and then like maybe a dress if I see something I like, and that's exactly what I got. So making a list is good, even if it's just like a mental list or like a little note on your phone, just to kind of think about that beforehand will also help you a lot. So tip number 5 is to kind of search more like obscure brands. Now this kind of mostly applies to like ThredUp and Poshmark and stuff like that. But for example, I thrifted this jacket back in December, I think. But it is a gorgeous wool jacket with a fur trim. Super good quality. It was only like 15 bucks buying it secondhand, and I love it so much. Ever since I got it, I had gotten like a million questions. If you follow me on Instagram, I've worn it on my YouTube channel. You've probably seen it if you've been following me, because it's probably my favorite thing in my wardrobe. But this I bought in store at a vintage shop in downtown Houston. So the brand is Carol Little, and I would have never heard of that before. And I kind of looked up the history, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. It's like a vintage brand. You see it on Poshmark, Etsy, like resell, because it doesn't really exist anymore. So I was like, oh, I should just search it on ThredUp and see if maybe there's anything similar, since I loved the green jacket that I got so much. So I ended up finding 2 jackets, and the first one is this one. So same brand, Carol Little. Wouldn't have, oh my gosh, I just got my my glove stuck. Okay. I wouldn't have heard of those brands just off the top of my head, but finding it at the thrift store, researching the brand, and then searching up on ThredUp led me to finding this jacket, which I love so much. Has the fur detail, the floral pattern. It's perfect for me. And then I also found this jacket from the same brand. So I was super happy, because finding that one jacket led me to finding these other 2 jackets that I now wear all the time and incorporate into my wardrobe. And this one I think was like $12, and this one was like $15, so kind of around the same prices. So those are kind of my main tips. Now I'm just going to answer a few questions you guys asked me on my Instagram story. Okay, first question is, what are basic pieces to look for when thrifting? So that's a good question. I feel like I kind of covered it, but not really. So I talked about my go-to sections, which are the pajama section, which has the silky nightgowns. Tops I can always find, because even if it's not your size, if it's too big, you can usually kind of just make it work either way. Skirts, kind of the same thing, depending on the cut. I like to go for more looser ones anyways, so that's a nice one to look for. Outerwear as well is a really good one. Same thing with the sizing. You can kind of go a little smaller or a little bit bigger and still make it work for you. For example, I'm usually around a size small, kind of. My green jacket that I have is an extra large, and it kind of has that oversized fit, and I think it looks perfect. I wouldn't even want it any smaller. So you can kind of I think outerwear is honestly the easiest one to thrift for me. And then dresses, same thing. You can go bigger, go smaller, and those are easy basics to look for. The one thing that I don't really thrift a lot is pants, just because for me, finding a good pair of pants that'll fit me is so hard. So trying to thrift for that is just something that's not, I might find something, but it won't fit me right, therefore I will not wear it. So pants are just kind of the one thing that I do stay away from. Deciding factors, maybe a yes or a no. I would say this might be different for everyone, but for me, sometimes I go in thrifting and I'm like, oh, this will be so cute to take a picture in, but I'm like, is it actually going to be something I wear in real life? Or am I just kidding myself and I'm just gonna take one Instagram picture with that item and then have it sit in the back of my closet? So that's kind of for me, I have to think of the item and imagine it in my life. For example, I found this really cute kind of mod 60s red, bright red jacket, and red is never a color I really wear. I'm not against it. It's bright red. I wear maroons and stuff, but a bright red is just something I never wear. I'm not against it, but it's just not something that I have in my closet, or nor do I have pieces to really pair that jacket that I was looking at in particular. And while I really liked that jacket and thought oh, that would be such a cute vintage mod 60s vibe, but in actuality I wouldn't wear it, because that's just not in my set color palette. So I usually just try to think about the item and think about where I would wear it to, how I would wear it. Do I have multiple outfits I could pair this with, and I let that be a deciding factor. Next question is, do you thrift your corsets? And no, if I found a corset at a thrift shop and it was my size, I would buy it instantly, but that's one of those things. Same with sweater vests, is like, that's like a really hot commodity that's gonna be really hard to find. So if I did find one, I would get it in a heartbeat. But so I just buy those online. I get mine from Vanessa Mooney. But yeah, so no, not corsets. I wish though. Next question is, how do you decide whether to buy something? I feel like I have too many clothes. I can definitely relate to that statement. But I would say kind of the same thing with the deciding factors. Like, really try to visualize that piece of clothing in your life and not just sitting in your closet for like one photo op, but think, can I style this with different things? And also just think, would I regret not buying this in a few weeks or a few days if somebody else were to come and get it? Because they are kind of like once in a lifetime pieces in a way, especially if it's something unique and not just like basic that you might find at another point. Really think about those things, because you might never see a jacket like that ever again. So yeah, those are all the questions I'm going to answer, and now I'm just going to show you a few of my favorite thrifted vintage outfits. Okay, so here's the first little outfit. I love it. Obviously I got this from the pajama section, but I would totally wear this out on like a spring day or picnic of sorts. I wore it before, and I styled my Ana Luisa Ava set with the outfit, and I think just like the dainty gold jewelry looks perfect with the casual fit. But yeah, I would probably like take this, tie it up a little bit, layer it, and yeah, I love like the color combo. I was super happy to find this little over top because if you look closely, it has like this beautiful like lace floral detail, which I always love, and the sleeves kind of like go out here at the end, so super cute. I'll show you the next outfit. Okay, this is the next outfit. The top is not thrifted, but I needed something to layer underneath. Mainly just wanted to show off this dark green dress. It has a very like dark academia vibe to it, which I love, and it is a corduroy material. I bought this at a vintage store downtown in Houston called Pavement, but the brand is Urban Outfitters. And I think I bought this around $15, which, if you ever been inside Urban Outfitters, you know everything's like so expensive for no reason. But I was super happy to find this, and like it was just one of those things where I saw it and I was instantly like, yes, I'm getting that. That needs to be in my life. But yeah, I love stuff like this because I can make multiple different outfits out of something like this, like layer different shirts over it, put jackets over on top, do like tights, boots, like whatever. Like there's just a lot of different layering opportunities with a dress like this. Okay, this next outfit makes me feel like an academia princess. I found this longer skirt at a vintage shop, and I love it because it's just like a basic black skirt, but I love looking for things that have like a little bit of like a unique detail, so like these arrows right here. But yeah, I feel like I can always find like longer skirts when thrifting, because that's always a section that doesn't typically get picked through that often, so you can find really cute pieces in the long skirt aisle. And then this top is from Goodwill, and you know, at first when I saw it I was like, wow, that's like so ugly, but like not at the same time, which is kind of how you have to look at some things. Like, that's ugly, but like it's kind of cute and I can make it work. And then this bag, I didn't thrift, but it is vintage. It is from my grandmother, my great-grandmother from the 1920s. So it's just very special to me. I wear it all the time, and yeah. Okay, so this jacket is from thredUP. It is one of the ones that I showed earlier. That's from Cara Little. But I love it so much. It has such like a cute vintage vibe to it. And then I paired this gray dress on underneath, which is also handed down to me from my grandma, so it is secondhand as well. And I just think it looks really cute with the jacket as like a monochromatic look. And then I'm wearing the same necklace set on that I had from Ana Luisa. Especially I love this jacket so much because it's really good quality, so I'll be able to wear it for a very long time to come. Okay, the last thing I wanted to show you, I'm basically wearing the same outfit with a different jacket, but this is my favorite item I have ever thrifted. I feel like if you're into thrifting, everybody just has that like one thing that you're like, this is the item that has done so much good for me. And for me, that is this item. Like, I feel like it's so unique, never seen anything like it, gorgeous, Cara Little again, so I'm very proud of it. And it's like a wool, so it is definitely going to last me a long time, and it keeps me very, very warm in the winter. Like even when it was snowing here last weekend, like I actually wore this jacket because I feel like it looks thin, but it's actually not, because it is wool, and wool just like keeps you warmer than just like a normal jacket would. So I love it so much. And yeah, that is all of the outfits I'm going to show you guys today. Okay, so that's going to be the end of today's video. I was so happy to film this because I think thrifting is a really good thing to do, and I hope it encourages you to go out there and thrift, or give you some tips or maybe some inspo. I hope it was helpful in some way. And thank you so much for Ana Luisa for sponsoring this video today. Remember, I do have the code RomneyEllen for 10% off your purchase if you would like to use that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video today. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, I hope you have a good rest of your day or night whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!